Hello again, golf fans, and welcome back to the LPGA Tour of Korea. We are getting set for round number 3 of this 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship live from the Ilsan Country Club. We have cut the field in half. We know we will have a new winner of this event, just its second ever playing. Another good day, not quite as sunny, but the temperature is still absolutely beautiful. And there are some phenomenal scores posted thus far in the round. It should be a very exciting day. Taking a look at some of the groups, we will begin with Kim Hin-ji, Chung Yoon-ji, and Kim Soo-ji. They teed off at 11:38 a.m. local time. The group's offset by 11 minutes on this Saturday. This one is one that we will certainly be keeping a very close eye on. Lee Ga-young, Park Hyung-kyung, and EA1 teeing off as the final group to go through the opening hole here at Ilsan. We will begin down at the 8th. This is the final par 3 of the front 9, EA1. She is currently sitting on 26 points. Just a little lofted ball up from the rough, just shy of the green. Gets herself within a couple of feet for an opportunity to pick up some more points. She is off to a slow start to the day. There's no two ways about it. She has actually dropped a point from the first hole. So the leader by the end of round number 2, currently trailing ENG by 4 points. She has picked up on that form from Thursday. 9 points collected on the day. She is at 30. Her tee shot at 9. Nestles into the charitable donation zone in the middle of the fairway. A donation to a good cause and another good start, to this front 9 that has seen her pick up so many points. It was a slow day yesterday, only 8 points she had collected. She's already bested that, and she is not even halfway through the round. 8 is next, back at the par 3, Lee Ga-young. It was a short approach. She has plenty of work to do as she tries to putt back towards the right side of the green. Consecutive rounds of 11 points picked up in this Stableford competition. Birdies today at 2, 5, and 6. She will have just a short tap in to go out with a 33. 6 points thus far in the round, up to 28 and just 1 birdie back of her group mate. We are, of course, playing Stableford. If you have not joined us through the first 2 rounds of the competition, this is your first time seeing this format. Let us refresh you on how it works. Basically, your typical shots, they are allotted point values rather than just 1 under par for a birdie, for example, 1 over par for a bogey. They are as follows. An albatross, the rare but playable, especially for the likes of Chung Yoon-ji, is worth +8. An eagle is worth 5. A birdie is worth 2. Pars, nothing. Your score carries over to the next hole. Bogeys, you lose a point. Double bogeys or worse, +3. And that cap can be important. There was an eagle earlier in the round. For Hong Jung-min, she is +8, which is exactly where she has been by the end of rounds 1 and 2. Able to put together a few more birdies in the front 9. That the approach. And now to Park Hyung-kyung, the last to make her first birdie effort on 8. Just going to slow up before the hole. Just trying to convince the ball to roll another 6 inches or so as she swings the club through the air. A bit perplexed. That's so frustrating when you are right on the money, only for it to come up a little bit short. She has just collected 2 points through 8 holes and finds herself 4 back of this woman, ENG. Pitching wedge exactly 100 meters out on 9. Right to the front, and this is very, very reminiscent of round 1. Her wedges were far and away the best clubs in her bag and were able to set up multiple birdies, especially on the back 9. So she is recalibrating before making the turn. One, just the short par converted. It seemed as though she took the figurative baton from ENG yesterday with her approach play. halfway through the round and at 26 points. Hong Jung-min from the fringe. She's going to putt this. It's 17 meters back. Gets it started, and for us it will break back right. Just not quite in time, not quite enough speed either. Well, it is tight at the top. 6 points separating T5 to the leader. Barring an eagle, that is still a 3-hole cushion for ENG at the top. As Park Hyun-kyung tees off on her final hole of the front 9. Birdie in round 1, par yesterday. Just going to roll through. We'll count that as a make to that wide circle spray painted in the middle of the fairway. More notes of housekeeping if you're just joining us for the first time at Iksan this weekend. This course with the 2-green format. It is a style of course architecture and design very popular in Japan. We don't see a ton of them here in Korea. Essentially what it allows for different styles of grass to grow on the green with climates that see very cool winters and very hot summers. Keeps the course a little bit more playable for a longer period of time in the season. Lee Jae-young also finding target, and that leaves EA1. Her round thus far, birdieless. She birdied here in round 1. Her bogey today came at the 3rd, also a par 4. There hasn't been much of a dip, if any, with that driver. She's going to narrowly avoid the target, but will still be able to make a very good play when she reaches. Well, it is 300,001 per arrival in the Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship charity zone. Also, for those who don't make it into the target, there is a 300,001 donation to the Dongbu University. Their children's hospital, making donations to pediatric patients with rare diseases. Always nice to see that even in the sport of golf, you can find a way to make an impact off the course as well, just as these players are making an impact on it. Going all the way in, and a nice pickup for ENG. Celebrating with the supporters as she makes her way to the next tee. An advantage up to 4 points, 2 birdies as we see Hong Jung-min just pulling that effort with par. So it is her second drop of the day. Her eagle was at the second, also had a birdie elsewhere on that front 9 as we go back to 9. And 9 iron. You love the symmetry. Nice little draw up and within 3-4 feet as it comes to rest. That is pin seeking to a tee. Young will be next. It's 112 for her. Also imagine it's iron, not wedge. A little bit deeper, but still fairly close. .24 today. Partly cloudy skies, 2.3 meters per second is the wind. It's coming out of the east. Not really a gusty day, just this steady breeze takes some of that heat away. And certainly higher visibilities than we saw earlier this morning. Very cloudy, very foggy. The players woke up. You want to miss it, of which we did not see many, if any, yesterday, rolling all the way to the back fringe. That was technically an effort from the rough, but that second cut, for the most part, has not been playing all that difficult relative to the fairway. As we update the leaderboard, ENG, her birdie at number 9 brings her to 11 points on the day, only bested by Kim Ji-young-2, who's picked up 13 points. She's playing on the 6th, but she teed off on the 10th hole. That is what the asterisk means, and it is becoming something of a comfortable advantage at the top for ENG. And welcome back to Week Sun. This is EA1 from off the green, using gravity as an ally, getting closer and closer, and we'll stop about 2 meters before the hole. She'll be A-okay with getting through this front nine, hopefully for her sake, with that par, and focusing on the back nine where she can attempt to put together a bit more on that short game proficiency that was well on display last week. It's been a matter of trying to put together every facet of her game for 4 rounds as she seeks her first title in her career. Back to 9, Park Young for birdie. Team Genie starting to pull away. This will go a long way for Park Young. This time she just has the speed, but not the line. Such fine margins, but the past 2 holes go without a bird. So she will have that minuscule tap in and finish with just 2 points picked up through 9 holes. Birdies at 2 and 7, bogeys at 1 and 3. It would be even par normally. It is +2 in Stableford scoring. Fast forwarding to 12, 106 meters into the rough for Hong Jung-min. Pitching wedge. Bounces it right on line. That's going to get a friendly roll. Should be able to not have any difficulties with that birdie putt. And Ige Young, the last hope for a birdie on this 9th and final hole on the East Course. 38% one-putt conversion success. She takes that stat, tears it to shreds, and is out with a 32. 4 birdies accumulated, trailing Team Genie by just 1 birdie, with half of her rounds still to play. Onto the green at 10, Kim Soo-ji. A remarkable score of +14 in the second round. Has another birdie to bring her to +9, 5th of the day. She was out with a 33, and she starts the back with a pickup. She is 6 points back now into a tie for 3rd with Park Young and EA1. And that is assuming, of course, that EA1 does not fail to convert on this par. She has it there. An underwhelming front 9 by her standards. Birdieless and the bogey at the 3rd. I think this is a literal and figurative chance for her to hit the reset button as she walks over the short walk to the 10th tee. The gallery at 9 empties out and will go along with the featured group. It is an average of 1.69 putts per hole for Lee So-mi. Down a little bit into the obscurity range. And a tie for 59th. But she picks one up there. Bogey birdie through 9. That's her first circle of the back 9. And now Hong Jung-min. A great approach shot. Sets her up comfortably inside of just a few feet. Tip of the cap as she has birdie number 3 on the day, an eagle and 2 bogeys. It's a colorful scorecard. 65 players were able to make the cut from the 108 that started this event. And a cumulative purse of $1 billion with $180 million for the champion. That second shot goes well awry. Faded into the rough. Bit of a surprising one, considering where she was in the fairway. Just not clean contact. Might have caught that off the toe a little bit. Some players only have a ball or two to sign, but when you're a superstar of Park Young's caliber, you'll take a handful or so. How many? Oh, dropped one. It was just reborn, that ball, you know. Making sure that Sharpie is dry before she lobs him up with some pretty good heat on it, too. It's not really a soft toss. Keeping everyone on their toes. EA1 and Lee Young will go through the ritual as well. Stopping at the tee shack to get a quick snack as well, the rookie. I like that. Gives them something to do. Engage a little bit with the supporters while they wait for the fairway in front of them to clear up. As we go to the 10th green, Chung Yoon-ji, she's got that bird. Her third of the day. It was a very, very quiet Friday that cost her really a chance to be leading the hunt. Still inside the top 10, but almost 2 full eagles back of the leader. Different approach for Lee Young, saying not just the fans and the bleachers. Now EA1 has figured this out. Down go the flowers. That is a lob. Might have had some softball in her past. Still a bit of a delay at the 10th, so we'll go to 13 in the meantime. It is a 6-iron for Hong Jung-min. And I don't know if that is fully in the sand, but it is definitely short. And here is Imjini off to the left. Disguised behind the knoll with the sand trap separating her and the putting surface. It's still 79 meters. She can get it close. Still well inside of a birdie opportunity. Kisses it off the fringe. Now it just needs to hit the brakes. Bit of a further roll than she would have hoped for. We'll see what she's able to do with that remaining distance in just a few moments. In the meantime, the tee shots are taken at 10 for the final time today. Lee Young goes first and down the hill, launched through the fairway. In a bit of a juxtaposition to what we've seen for the most part, Lee Young doing most of her birdie work on the front nine, only 5 combined birdies through 2 rounds on the back. It's gone left. Misses the fairway, but that's not all that unkind of a lie. Park Young yesterday, 3 birdies on the back. Round 1, 3 birdies on the back. So she's already bogeyed more this week than on this day, excuse me, than she had done in round 1 and in round 2. And last but certainly not least, EA1. Birdie at 10 in round 1. One of her 4 birdies on Thursday. She had 5 yesterday on the back. Just to try and keep pace with ENG and company above her. Would need to replicate at least her opening round performance of 4. And down they go. Down we go. 82% greens in regulation, the 8th best mark on tour for Kim Soo-ji. That's not brought to you by Team Callaway. It's 121 meters out, should be 8 iron. Glances down to the left and will take the slope closer to the rough. Pitch up from the fringe will be her setup shot. Starting with the par 5. Allows a bit of carte blanche to reach for a little bit more with the second shot. And now Hong Jung-min certainly in the sand here. How does she get out? Seemingly as everyone on this tour does. She gets out as if she was playing it from the rough. Said it before, I'll say it again. And with 6 more events this season, I'm sure I'll make the comment at least once or twice more. I do not think there is a better country in the world that produces players who have the technical side of their game as down pat as Korea does. Sand recovery marks for just about everyone we see in the top 30. Almost unspeakable how good it is. Well, her advantage has been narrowed to 2 after the birdie from Lee Ga-young. ENG can put it right back up to 4 downhill with not nearly as much right to left break as she had positioned herself for. She will mark off and have about 16 inches. Simple par. That opens the door for the featured group behind her. Some reassurance from her caddy. That's okay. Certainly is. Not going to cost her the lead here. And now the hybrid 261. Certainly not going to reach. You can see that pot bunker at the end of the fairway as well. Something to be mindful of for somebody who might dare to try and go for it in 2. This isn't the hole to do that. That is certainly 17. That's been shortened again. Playing only 454 meters this weekend. Now EA1 from the other side of the fairway. .252, the remaining yardage. She too back into the fairway, and that leaves Lee Ga-young, the only one to make it in regulation. Following a similar ball flight to Pak Young-kyung with a little bit extra power behind it. Goes to the right side of the fairway, and we'll have a straight look at the pin that is on the left side of the green as we go back to 11. More of a chip than a pitch with the way she's lined her feet up. Almost right on the money. It's 4.4 for Im Hee Chung. A little right to left, and she's got it. Up to 26 points, her third birdie of the day, still without a bogey through 10. That is a great start to the back nine, and a very happy Im Hee Chung as she makes her way to the 11th tee. School's out for the week. That means we have many more younger fans in the audience. How many future golf pros are in that group? Even with the patience at the tee, this is the difficult part when you as a group are playing fast. Make a good shot or make a poor shot, and you have to stand over your ball and think about it while you wait. Three great spots to try and attack from. EA1 will be the first as the furthest back from the flag, 98 meters. Three-quarters of a swing with the wedge, just through the fringe. Only 82 for Park Young-gun. It's a significant divot she takes with her. Not quite clean contact, and she's gone left. You know that the pressure, the stress with the turn of the weekend coursing through her veins. Thinking all the way back to early last year, her last win. Well, she was the closest to the pin, and she remains the closest with everyone's third shots played. That is a bona fide look at birdie and a couple outside chances for EA1 and Park Young-gun. The lead is 2 for Im Genie through 10 holes, 11 points collected on the day. Another hole down and another couple of points picked up for Kim Ji-young too, who is at plus 15 through 16 holes on her third round. They call it moving day for a reason. She is the biggest mover into a share of the top 7 now with just a couple of holes remaining. Well, from off the green, putter was called for, and putter almost delivered for Park Young-kyung. This is where this sport can feel hopelessly cruel at times. 3 consecutive holes where she finishes less than a meter away. This, her most painful and nearly one of the shots of the day. Starts that a solid 4 feet to the left of the hole. Reads the break perfectly. And just not enough to pick up the points. The encouraging sign is that there is still, in Park Young-kyung's case, 26 holes to go. That is a potential score of plus 52. So there are still points to be had, but there's no doubt she needs a few birdies in the final 8 holes of the round if she's going to try and keep pace with not just ENG at the top, but Lee Ga-young and her group. It will be pitching wedge from just off the fairway. She has found 80% of her greens in regulation so far this week. Looks like she caught it well. She is definitely the queen of the head gesture. Dips it to the right. I mean, she's looking for a little bit of movement to the right. Dips it to the left. Looks like she's trying to will the ball back online. It is still a fantastic effort that should lead to another birdie. Now Ye-won in that logjam for a tie for 4th, no longer. So that moves her to the outright occupation of 3rd. And she'll think that's at long last her first birdie of the day. Fantastic start to the back 9 as we go to 12. Hasn't found the greens as consistently as she'd like, as consistently as she had done on the way to back-to-back titles just a few weeks ago, but that one will go a long way towards a birdie. She's had a fantastic round. Still has time to surpass her mark of plus 14 yesterday, which is 1 off the tournament high. Now Lee Ga-young around the hole and down. So she's back into a tie for the lead. Back-to-back birdies now. The second time on the day that she has done it. Plus 32, unless ENG has her birdie after a good approach shot of her own. They are going neck and neck, mano-y-mano, all the way through this 3rd round. A look at 11. It is a 359-meter par 4, drastically downhill off the teeing grounds into the fairway. It is a relatively narrow fairway just before it makes that slight move to the right. And the 11th, well, if it was playing on the right-sided green, it would be a proper dogleg to the right. But it is the left green. It brings that sand trap in play. The oblong, 3-pointed bit of sand just off to the left. The pin placement today in round 3, it is 16 yards off the front if you were walking basically from the right green and over. In terms of the fringe, it is 6 yards off of that fringe, and it is a pretty kind pin placement today in that significant portion of sky blue, though there is that little bit of a dip if you are too long on the approach shot. Handicap value of 8. Middle of the park hole in terms of difficulty. Another nice drive for Lee Ga-young. On Friday, we were speaking of the fact that she has come awfully close to that win, but it has eluded her thus far in her career. She is the 96th ranked golfer in the world. 3 times in her last 2 seasons she has finished third, 4 overall in her professional career. Twice already this season. Is this the time that she finally gets that elusive W? Yeon goes a little bit longer and slightly more to the right. She's been a runner-up this season. Only half of her fairways and greens in regulation today. Birdie here in round number 2. This seems more online. It'll just stay in. Rolls over to the left at the end, and that might just end up as the longest drive out of the 3. Everyone off to a good start. Back with Kim Soo-ji. Is a slightly downhill, should be left to right putt. She played the break the opposite way, grazes the inside of the cup. Marked off for a short par. Also in her group today, Kim Hee-ji, who was the outright leader after a phenomenal round 1. Very, very quiet yesterday, just 3 points. She is still in 10th. At plus 23. Kim Jae-hee hot on her heels, her 3rd birdie of the day. It's the best score of Group 15 alongside Lee So-mi and Bae So-hyun. Genie, who had won the McCall Monopark Open with SBS Golf with a score of 11 under through 3 rounds, a 2-shot win back in July. That's a downhill putt for birdie. She got it. Increasing that cushion once again. She loves this run of holes to start the West Course. No better example than round 1, where I think it was 4 birdies in her first 5 holes here. Kim Soo-ji saves her par. 9 points collected on the day. If she comes up short, and it's a little bit early to say definitively whether that will be the case, she doesn't have to look much further than her very, very slow start to the event on Thursday. She'd only picked up 3 points. Now we get Young, the runner-up at the Chris F&C 44th KLPGA Championship, the first major of the season. Also the 8th Kyochun Honey Ladies Open last year. Just short at the McCall Monopark Open with SBS. In 2019, the ADT Caps Championship, also a P2. Down she goes on the approach, right at the flag. Narrowly missing an eagle. You won the 12th best greens in regulation mark this season, 75%, going with the 9-iron. It's a little bit short. That's not going to be the most straightforward of putts. And the GIR, excuse me, of 69.2% this season. That is outside of the top 50 for Park Young through 22 events in 2022. She's going with the 9, 116. Just won't hang on to the fringe. She might still choose to putt from there. The putter has been her best club. Second best putting average on tour. It's that aforementioned GAR and driver distance that has hindered her a little bit 2/3 of the way through the season. Genie, a big blast. 245 yards is her season average. And as we pan across the horizon, the gap hasn't changed. It is still 2 points, but some separation between Imjini, Ige Young, and the rest of the field, starting to leave EA1 a little bit behind, who is still just at 1 point collected on the day, though she finally has a birdie. Perhaps something to build some momentum off of. This is the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship moving day on this Saturday. Back in a flash. Well, for the first time in a while, some drastic changes in the primary LPGA Tour of Korea leaderboards. From the points to the money to the rookies. That went through pretty quickly, so as we let EA1 set up for her look at birdie, let me just go through it in case you missed it, because it is worth a note. We begin in the points where it is now Kim Soo-ji who leads all. Peng Min-ji second, Yoo-hae Ran down to third, Park Ji-young and Chi-Han Sol the top five. EA1 with another birdie. A nice interlude as she goes back to back. She is fourth on the money list at $712,424,000 won in her first season. She is the leading rookie as well. Peng Min-ji with a $303 million won cushion over Kim Soo-ji on the money list. Yoo-hae Ran third in that category as well. Park Ji-young rounds out the top five. And then from EA1, 507 points back is Koo Chi-woo. 1,914. Ma Tae-som is third. Kwon So-yeon fourth. And Kim Min-ju has finally passed the competition and moves up into fifth. Well, this tree is, from a landscaping perspective, beautiful. From a chaotic perspective, hilarious. And in this particular moment, a thorn in the side of this approach shot. 100 meters exactly, looking to go front of the green, and Im Ji-ni has to work around the branches. Slightly downhill. She has that just set beneath her left heel. You can see she has to go for the half swing, and she finds herself on the beach. Bad news for the leader, good news for everyone trying to catch up with her. Park Young-young is one of those people. She is indeed going to putt, looking for a birdie. Little roll to get it started, but it's quick and it's left. Not nearly as close as her last three. But I think once she had gone long, she probably conceded it was not going to come here. 13 with Kim Soo-ji. Downhill putt for birdie to get to 28 points. Right to left, but too much to the outside. She has putt well, but she certainly hasn't set the world on fire. Only 30.03 as her season average. Now a par save for Park Young-young that she is able to maneuver. Just a short effort for Lee Ga-young from 32. And just enough again. She makes it dramatic. It will still fall for a bird. Up to 34, and her co-leader is in the sand, one hole further down. So we could see a swap of spots in just a few minutes' time. Next up will be the 12th. It is 349 meters in distance. Down over that long patch of rough into the fairway that banks left. This is a true dogleg left. For those who might have a bit of a hook off the tee, there is a sand trap 195 meters from the teeing ground to the end of that first fairway, then around the trees. And you will hope, if you are following a similar path to Im Ji-ni, you are either to the left of it or to the right of it. Otherwise, that big sand trap will be more than happy to welcome you into the sand. The pin placement today at 12. It is 9 yards off the front, 10 yards from the right in this circular green.
Shot.
Well, the next tee shot just settles in right in behind of Iga Young, slightly beyond by maybe a couple of yards. Nicely played by EA1. You can tell she understands her strengths and perhaps some of her weaknesses. In terms of driving accuracy, EA1 8th on tour, 76% in regulation on average. But you'd have to scroll down quite some ways to 34th at just 241 yards per average. Park Young the last to tee off. And the feature group is down on the march to the fairway at 12. The final of back-to-back par 4s. They'll have a par 3 next, 2 more par 4s, and then they finish 3, 5, and 4. Look at this crater at 12. Imjini trying to get out. Oh, she catches that fringe so well. Brings her into a lovely position to try and save her par. Hop, skip, and a long roll all the way down. Kim Ji-young and company finishing their round on the 9th hole. Was slightly off to the left into that rough. Currently in a tie for 4th, plus 16 on the day. That would be the best mark of the tournament if she can at least have a par. And now right to left, off the flag, and that'll drop for a bird for Imi Jung, her 4th of the day, 2nd in 3 holes on the back 9. She quietly just tiptoeing back into contention, taking out right 4th, and is 3 birdies back of the lead. Short putt falls. Par saved. Big recovery out of the sand. Lands about pin high, rolls slightly further down. That's better from Park Young. Now 115, clear line of sight down to the flag. It is pitching wedge for the rookie. Trying to go 3 for 3 to start this back nine. The wind slightly left to right at her back. It is short. Missed opportunity. Wonder if the wind and the downhill nature of that shot caused her to be a little bit more cautious. Now Ige Young. She's been striking the ball very, very well with her wedges in this third round. It's the correct depth, about 5 meters to the right of the flag, and another opportunity to pick up some points and once again trade the lead with ENG. An important par save from the ladder to maintain her position in a tie for the top of the leaderboard, with Ige Young pushing for more. EA1 third, Imi Jung outright fourth, and Kim Ji-young 2 on the 18th and final hole of her round. We will wrap up that group in a few moments. Back at Igsan. Here are the LFASI's point standings after 25 rounds this season. The race for the top 8 for the end of season LFASI's point championship. Yuhei Ran continues to lead, ballooned by her 1,600 points collected for consecutive top 10 finishes. She is at 7,790. Kim Soo-ji is second, closing that gap a little bit to 6,980. Park Ji-young 6,490. Peng Min-ji up 2 spots after her win again at the major last week. Only 60 points back of the top 3. Only, let's do some quick math here, 85 back is Ji-han Sol, and then a little bit further is the rookie EA1, both down a spot to 5th and 6th respectively. Lee So-mi is 7th, Im Hee-jung is 8th. That is the top 8, with Chung Yoon-ji and Chae Reim closing the gap to that automatic qualifying position. Speaking of EA1, here she is at 12. It is 11 meters short of the flag from the end of the fairway. She's so good at manipulating the spin on the ball. Gets a ton of backspin to slow it up. Breezes by to the left, but stays fairly close. Should be a par. And the co-leader on the par 3 13th, 6 iron in hand. She lands about central on the green. That will stay towards the back. That is a nasty looking downhill putt as the birdie well is running a little bit dry. The wind picking up a touch as well here at Iksan. Park Young putting into it for birdie. These are the kind of moments that she's after because she's so proficient with this putter. She needs one of those though. Even if she had been able to hole out on half of those, she'd be up 6 points and in with the leaders, but that putter has gone cold and she is still only on 2 points accumulated on the day. Back to 9, the final hole for Kim Ji-young 2, putting downhill from the fringe all the way to the front of this green. That's carrying a lot of speed and it's fading to the right. That might just go right back onto the fringe, and it does. She could afford to bogey. Certainly not what she wants to do. Certainly wouldn't help her get into the final 3 groups tomorrow, but it wouldn't diminish the day that she's had by any means. Back to 12. Lee Ga-young has had no such trouble with the putter. Nearly another birdie. She lips around. And typically the last 2 holes when she's made that spin, it has fallen for a birdie, but this time it stays out. Im Jin-hee breathes a sigh of relief once that news passes along to her. Now Im Hee-jung short on the par 3, a little chip over the fringe, also with the backspin to slow up. 2-footer for her par. What is take 2 from the fringe, and with putter for Kim Ji-young 2, this the par save should be okay. No, thought that was going to make that last little break to the right. It stays out. It is a tap in. It is a bogey, but still a wonderful day. 2 birdies on the front 9. That was it. I was like, okay, that's not that substantial, but 4 more on the back and an eagle. Finishes with back-to-back bogeys, however, so a bit of a damper on an otherwise brilliant day. She finishes with 15 points to tie the tournament best round score, and she is up 32 spots into a tie for 7th. You can see that she was mindful of the downhill. She didn't want to be on the fringe like Kim Ji-young 2 was, Still about 4 paces back of the hole, though. Quickly over to 14. Kim Soo-ji in a tie for 6th at the moment with Park Young-young. Can she find another bird? Yes, she can. It is a menacing sight. Left fist raised in celebration. It is her 2nd of the back 9, and up she goes now within 6. She is on pace to beat her round yesterday, but she needs a good finish. Now Imjini to avoid a bogey. 100% par conversion with putter until now. Breaks away to the inside, taps in, and drops out of the lead. So it is 33 points now. Not just her first birdie of the day, but her first bogey of the day, excuse me, but her first bogey since the 11th hole yesterday. Nearly 20 holes without dropping any strokes. Early days, birdies at 2 and 4. She had her eagle at 7 just before we came on the air. From there, par, birdie, par, and now the bogey. Our featured group has had plenty of success. EA1 and Lee Ga-young with birdie par through the first 2 rounds. 6-iron. Doesn't look thrilled with it. She might have been worried about the sand, but she'll have enough carry to avoid it. But she is right when she wanted to be left. Three birdies through the par 3s thus far in the competition. Lands with a vengeance. A few paces to the left of the hole and will bounce and roll closer to the back of the green than the front. Teeing off at 14, Imi Jung swung that driver very well so far. Looks to be another. Right down the middle. Well, time to turn it up if you are Park Young-young. Down 5 spots to 7th, 2 points. The total, that is the lowest of anyone inside of the top 40. Just has not been able to convert. Cooling off, and she was due for a lull. But with every hole that passes without a birdie, it makes tomorrow all the more pressure-packed. Imjini is the next to go at 14, trying to rebound. For some people, one of the best sounds in sports is the crack of a baseball bat on its way to a home run, the swish of a basketball net. For me, a good drive, the pure contact of a drive is right up there with the sounds that make sports so wonderful. A look at the top 7. Lee Ga-young now in sole possession of first at plus 34. EA1 in third, 4 points back. That's 2 birdies away. Kim Soo-ji, Im Hee-jung amongst those in the chasing pack, playing some very consistent golf. Nearing the bottom of the clock here at ENG Sun, about 90 minutes to go on moving day and still plenty of movement to be had. We'll be back after a short pause. On a round that has not been kind to one of the best putters in the country, we look back at the close calls that Park Young has had. So by my count, that's 4 points dropped. 5 is next. This one you can forgive her from quite some distance away, but still finishes within 6 inches. 6 points dropped. We go to 8. It continues just short. 8 points. 9, another chance. Could she finally get the putter going? If you've been with us since the beginning, you know the answer is no. That one is just cruel, as it looked like it had everything it needed. That's 10 points to 10 from the fringe, putting downhill. To the outside, back online. Okay, looks good, looks great. Another within mere centimeters. 12 points. 12. Another into the wind, uphill. 14 points. She has left off the board with putts that have finished within a foot or two at the most. It has been oh so cruel. To 13, 11.4. Not her best approach shot, but it seems like if she's going to break the streak, she needs to do so in dramatic fashion. Here it is, finally. Let the floodgates open from here on out. 5 holes still to go. And again, 14 points this round. You think if you add that to her total, she would not just be the leader, but she would be the leader in convincing fashion. Theoretically, plus 42. That's not the case. She cannot dwell on it. And she needed to see that ball from the putter to the bottom of the hole. Let's see if she can turn that into a run. 14. Im Jung, another great approach. Absolutely dialed in. She's admitted at this point she wants to play great golf, but she's already won more than she expected with the early season misfortunes that she has had. I want to stay competitive. I want to stay in it. Of course I want to win, but at this point I want to keep my health and keep competing to the best that I can. Now Lee Ga-young, a long right to left putt that dives inside. Fine margins. Would have increased her lead to 3 points, but she will have to settle for a par here. Now Im Genie, 81 meters to go. Directly over the sand to the pin on the left side of the green. Ends up being a 244-meter drive downhill. 52 degree, I believe. Need a bit more bite and a bit more backspin. Now EA1. This is a similar distance to Bak Young, but this was never really online from the beginning of that putt. Three or 4 feet, slightly downhill. Should be business as usual. There's the par. Keeps her third, 4 points back. Now Kim Soo-ji. Short on the approach shot. This is from the fairway still. Down the embankment to the left. That's about the same remaining distance for par as EA1 just had. That is what's next for the feature group. Down to the final 5 holes, the first of 2 par 4s back-to-back. This being the 336-meter, nearly the shortest hole, only beat by the 9th by only 3 meters. Another lone pine in the center of the fairway. 250 meters from the tee is the tree. It continues to shape around to the left. Probably with how the course is situated in a perfect world, you are staying left of that tree. The pin and the green, both on the right with the placement today. Pretty much a direct line over the end of that left bunker to about Well, I don't even have to give you a boat. I can tell you precisely 18 yards from it onto the green. This will be a confidence builder as well. She has the honor now after her birdie. Realistically, she gets herself within 4 points. She'll have complete and utter belief that she can do it. But she needs to settle into a groove and try and minimize mistakes like that. Has it within her wheelhouse to still reach the green from that position, especially on a shorter par 4.
비시바람. 이동 좀 멈춰주세요. 자, 플레이하겠습니다. 이동 좀 멈춰주세요.
Young is away. That leaves EA1 on the tee. Well, the final two players to tee off, having no such troubles Park Young had. This is where they're headed. This green where we find ENG trying to take the lead back, force the issue from Young. It was short, and even if it had a bit more, would have been left. Her birdie well has run a little dry. Now Kim Soo-ji. This should not be an eventful putt. It should be straightforward. Downhill with a little snap to it. Well, she hesitated over it. You could tell she was unsure. And just because something should not be, does not mean it is. Second bogey of the round, or first since the par 5, 6th. That will slow her up a little. Dropping her out of the top 5, and now 7 strokes back. ENG trying to save her par now. Gets it there. Hustles over to 16, making way for EA1. 101 meters to go. Needs it to stop. That will keep her inside range. Going right at that pin. Well, you can definitely file this under the predicament category. Needs to bend down to see where she makes contact with the green, but with the low lofted nature of that shot out of the rough. No amount of spinner manipulation able to be applied. And she sails off the back of the green. Hee Young, it's 96 meters. A little bit of swagger. Almost saw a club twirl there from Hee Young. Not quite as close as EA1. I don't know that I would be putting money on anyone to birdie here. Can just carry it over to 15. Speaking of carrying over to 15. Genie. You can see waiting in the background with her, Kim Yoo-bin, who is at plus 23, tied for 11th. Im Hee-jung, plus 28, tied for 4th. Into the fairway goes the closest challenger to Hee Young. And now Kim Soo-ji at the par 3, her final on this Saturday. Six has been the iron of choice for most. Well, that's exactly best case scenario. The fringe slows it up brilliantly. I think that's Jung Yoon-ji, who's just gone a little bit closer. But two grade A iron shots off the tee. And now, Park Young needs a grade A lofted shot from off the back. Wind has calmed down once again. Does it have the speed to reach? It's a little bit short. Should be able to save her par there. And again, she'll take the preference of an uphill putt from that range than a downhill. She is already 1 point ahead of her score from both round 1 and round 2. She was plus 11, plus 11. Five last putts to try and inflate that yet. 436 looks good. Very close. The weight was right where she wanted. It's just slightly off to the right. So it is a par at 14. Yeah, just one last check of the break. Uphill for birdie. A little bit right to left. More than she planned for. she's starting to get into a bit of a rut. Ella Young still only +3 on the day, 2 birdies and a bogey. As we go over to the par 3, Kim Soo-ji. 3.2 meters. This drops just over a third of the time from this distance. Not on this occasion. Stayed close to perfectly straight, if not for that little move to the left at the very end. Keeps her at +27. No, this is a big swing, trying to save a par. Did she push this? She nearly did. Off the toe, and that looked like it was skating away from her, but she does the full lap of the hole. It does go down, and that is an exhale. That's a how did I manage to miss the fairway from the tee frustration, but the immediate problem she had to face, the immediate obstacle, was that par putt, and she converts on it. Down to 4 to go. 3:45 p.m. local time here in Iksan. Fairway on 15 is where we find Imjini, 138. She'll be looking for a 6-iron here. Maybe she went for 7 because it was short. She looks a lot straighter, so maybe it was a 6 after all. At this point, it's inconsequential. She's off the green. What is an ominous layer of trees that divides the 2 holes? A couple of times here at 15, we've seen those trees actually come in handy in that it almost absorbs a miss-hit tee shot and just drops it down into a spot where you can still do something with it. It is 9 bogeys, 1 double, 45 pars, and only 4 birdies here all day. It's played tough. It's a long par 4, 371 meters. And Song-yi had one in terms of a birdie. Ko Chi-yu also picked up one. Kang Soo-yeon, who's down in a tie for 56th, one of her 4 on the day. She's currently playing on the 7th, teeing off at hole number 10. And that's it.
자, 앞에 이동 멈춰주세요. 네, 플레이 하겠습니다. 잠시만 멈춰주세요. 멈춰주세요. 앞에 이동 좀 멈춰주세요. 오케이.
Well, here we go then, with a gallery swelling in numbers. The closer we get to 18, the fewer groups that remain on course. A1's not thrilled with it. She should be. It's okay. It's more than okay. It's perfectly fine. Roll of the eyes as she watched that one go up into the air. I think she was one of the players that shot into the trees yesterday here at 15.
바로 플레이하겠습니다. 이동 좀 멈춰주세요. 앞에도 이동 좀 멈춰주세요.
Also on the fairway for Park Hyung-kyung.
네, 알겠습니다.
Everyone is away. It is the shortest of the lot. But still something to play for. Consider, too, that the pin today, you navigate this very long par 4, and then the approach is just onto the front of the green. Requires an immensely high level of accuracy. And this is how close it is. It dares the brave. Try and use the fringe as a cushion. ENG, a little pitch. Bounces once off the fringe, kicks it on line. It's a very good effort. It will just be a par. That is case number, well, nearly 50 at this point of why birdies are hard to come by here. Plus 33, 33, and 3 holes to play. She is 1 off the pace of Lee Ga-young in second. EA1 remains in third on 30 points. Chung Yoon-ji picking it up down the stretch. She's up to 11 points on the day for 29 the aggregate. Im Hee-jung, Park Hyung-kyung plus 28. Kim Soo-ji on 17 is at plus 27. Our coverage of the 2022 Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship will continue after this short break. Well, here we go on the approaches. 6-iron down the hill for Park Young. She does find that fringe. Did the bulk of the heavy lifting right there. Now it's up to a conversion to move back to a tie for third. Could be game on. I said she needed 2 or 3 down the home stretch. Would be a good start to that with just 4 holes to play. Only 3 for Imi Jung and company. Pitching wedge. Starting right. And short, I believe, just on that overhanging rough, just past the bunker. I think that's a cheeky, that was close reaction. Ige Young, just seeing how you should play this. 8-iron, $134 over the water, over the sand. Where does it first make contact? Similar, but a bit shorter. That's almost identical to Imjini. Now EA1, the KB Financial Group sponsored athlete in her becoming increasingly famous yellow attire. She has been absolutely lights out in these moments. It's a bit deeper than she would have wanted, past the shadow of the flag. She'll have another downhill putt for birdie. 2 birdie putts and a birdie pitch. That is the lay of the land here on the final par 4 before the last. Park Young trying to stay cool, keeping the sun away. Still better than what was forecasted in terms of weather today. Clear skies now at this point, 25 degrees as we are nearly at 4 p.m. local time. And Iksan, the eastern portion of the country. Central East, if you want to be very specific. Now Imjini preparing for her tee shot. You know she's looking for pinpoint accuracy when the shades aren't on. Looking down at this green. This is another one that has a bit of a fade to it, heading right. On in a decent spot. Not great, not bad, and now she's gonna get some relief from that bright sun beating down on the field and on the supporters. Up come the umbrellas for the walk down the winding cart path. Somewhere in this general vicinity is the advice from the caddy. I'd say that's probably the best play. I think she might want to just go beyond the fringe if she can. That's why you land on it like that. It careens away. To the left it goes. That will be her par putt. Officially less than 2 hours to sunset now. 24 hours from now, we should know who the champion will be. Might it come from this group? Ige Young certainly hopes so. Going shot for shot. Down 17. 189 from the fairway. 190 a few paces to the right. Have to start to pay a bit closer attention to Jung Yoon-ji. Eagled here in round 1. What can she do with her setup shot today? Back with that 5 wood. Onto the green, but shooting all the way to the back. Down the hill and lost beneath Signage there, it is. She'll be able to set up her attempted birdie from there if she can hole out on it, and EA1 does not make this birdie putt, which is a low percentage putt. She would take over third on the leaderboard. Back towards the front she goes. A little tap to get it started. Needs to break left, but it stays right all the way and will basically come to rest alongside Park Hyung-kyung's ball marker. Now Kim Soo-ji, it's 189 meters, needs to get up 4.5. Little club twirl, she likes it. Needs to land it a bit shallow, but she too gets too much of the green, and off she goes, though that stays basically level with the hole. Well, so far today, 3 to 4 meters, 41%. By the time it falls, it is just beyond 3. Park Hyung-kyung. This is a big time putt. Yes, she's got it. Continuing to affirm the line that when she can get herself close and she's feeling that putter, she is hard to slow down. Next up will be the par 3 and then a final par 5 that is very makeable in terms of birdies. I think she's back into that flow, Park Hyung-kyung, picking up 2 more crucial points. And just 2 back of the leader. Amy Jung, that was her second after narrowly avoiding the sand. Four back of the leader, excuse me, for Park Hyung-kyung through 15. 34 and 30 is the differential, unless this somehow becomes a bogey. Shouldn't be, won't be, is not. Simple par for Lee Ga-young. EA1 trying to hang on for a par. She has some company now from Park Hyung-kyung at this score of 30. She's got it there. Well, definitely on pace for her quietest day of the tournament. Back-to-back birdies, 10 and 11, and that is it in terms of pars on the day. A bogey very early in the round as well. As we go to 16, chance for Im Genie to take the lead right back. A right to left downhill putt. Too much left, though. A titch short as well. Slides that in, and we'll stay at 33. Also on the par save train, Im Hee-jung, slightly downhill. Oh, she's pulled this one. Loops around and coming up short on the tee shot, costs her a stroke. From 28 to 27 she will go. And a tie for 6th with Kim Soo-ji. 28 to 27, that's the math I'm after. Already in position and waiting. If other tendencies in past results are to be applicable here, Yang has not found a ton of joy on the par threes. This is her effort from the left side of the blocks. Where will it land? That's the key here. Too deep. Way too deep. Makes a bit of a move back. And his two-putt territory was never going to be here. Get out with the par and start to think about how she wants to attack 17 and 18. Young with her pitching wedge. She too lands that deep. Also will be heading to the left, not quite as far as Park Young, but you need to be, for birdie, barring some kind of miracle putt, a step or two only through that fairway. There was also Park Young feeding her groupmate a snack. There you go, Young. Can't get the gloves sticky, especially when there's fruit involved. That's. Can you call that good sportsmanship? I'll call that good sportsmanship. It's a wide open green for EA1, who birdied here on Thursday. Also with the pitching wedge. And that's where you want to be. Basically pin high as it stops. Looking for her third pickup on the back nine. Tied with Park Young as they make their way down the hill. Well, if the current trajectory is anything to go by, EA1 will have the biggest points accumulation in the LFASI's point standings by the end of the round. Amy Jung is also up there in the top 8, and Jung Yoon-ji is closing down on a spot in that automatic qualifying zone. It's a long way back. Ooh, almost a little bit of magic for Park Hyun-young. Can't be surprised when she does something like that with her putter. And Kim Soo-ji, she's going to putt her third. Trust this a little bit more than the pitching wedge. Downhill. Up on target. Oh, catches a bit. Pops out. This is a look from this angle. That's a ludicrous read. She did so well to give herself that chance. Lee Ga-young follows suit. Park Hyun-young comes close. Tap in par. Well, with 16 in the books now, it is down to the final 2 holes of the day. This is 17 animation style. 220 meters, that is the in-play point, generally speaking. And because it's playing so short, only 454 meters, which is down from where it had been in the first 2 rounds of this competition. It puts you in between clubs. Do you go for the 5-wood? The risk is that you shoot off the back and it's unpredictable. Or it's less predictable. You try and reach for a little bit more with the driver and allow for a hybrid of some kind. Brings in some options, no doubt. Jung Yoon-ji has her birdie. Back-to-back in 5 on the back 9 now, plus 31. 3 back of Lee Ga-young. She has really turned it around after only picking up 3 points on the front 9. Soo-ji also able to meet the flag. Her third, plus 29, is sole possession of 6th with 1 hole to go in her 3rd round. A1 stands up out of it. Well, no doubt a puzzling one, and she's in no rush to try and get through this. With a bit of a whimper. It was a great opportunity to pick up a stroke, but it goes the opposite direction. Now the test of bravery. How aggressive do you want to play? How aggressive can you play? Amy Jung. She goes with the slightly shorter route. Not enough to get all the way there. Kim Soo-ji on the tee at 18. Jeannie's second. Her remaining distance, 182. She's also short. Stuck on the fringe on the wrong side of the green, however. On the 17th tee. Where will it land? It's going to get a nice roll down. We'll just settle into the second cut.
실례하겠습니다.
Now you got Young's turn. Two, three away. It's all about the second. Now, the better your drive, the easier that second shot becomes. Lastly, EA1. And she has pulled this one in and around the trees again, and she tries to cheat a little bit with the way that this hole is shaped. Down over the sand. Usually I'd use the shadow of the flag as a good descriptor, but with how low the sun is in the sky, it changes things slightly. You can hear the supporters willing it forward for Imjini. Go, go, go. Kim Soo-ji, 119 meters on her approach shot. She dunks that. Goodness gracious, only a few feet away. Jung lifting it up, rolling it close, should be a bird. Just patiently biding their time. She's ready at long last, knowing what is on the line here. Worth the wait. Plus 35. She takes the lead again with 1 hole to go. That is her first birdie since the 11th hole. Her 5th on the day to go along with an eagle and a bogey at 13. There's EA1 from the rough back towards the fairway, so no eagles for her. Tip from Imi Jung, also picking up a birdie. That is just her 5th of the day. Plus 12 would be just fine with the multiple-time winner on the LPGA Tour of Korea. All right, Park Hyun-kyung, it is your show. She is going to go with the hybrid. She struggled with this club at times. 205 meters. Down it goes. Bounces once, twice. Is it going to get through? Not quite. It avoids the sand, which she had found yesterday. Needed a little bit more on the drive. Takes eagle off the table, but definitely birdies on with a good approach. Despite a slow and at times sluggish performance in this 3rd round. A birdie here, or a birdie at 18 and a par on the other. Could still see her finish in the top 3 and in the featured group tomorrow. We have a pretty good feeling Lee Ga-young will be there. This looks like a 5 wood rather than a hybrid for the leader. 200 on the nose. She's gone right in behind a tree towards the cart path. No obstacles in her way, despite coming up slightly offline. Over to the 18th green. ENG just picked up a birdie at the last. This is 7.2 meters. An unlikely, but far from impossible final pickup, but it goes uphill and it takes the speed with it. It's short. I'm not sure if EA1 is second-guessing this club. Second-guessing where she's wanting to try and place it. The macro answer is close. But how exactly to attack? That is the minute detail. 69 meters. It's not as full a wedge as I might have expected from her. Goes off the fringe and just rolls through. Also had the wind at her back once again. She's a little bit perplexed at how light that played. Back to 18. The third to last group to finish the round. Suji has it there. She deserves all kinds of commendations. Just +3 after one. Was it at risk of missing the cut, but now consecutive rounds of 14 to bring her to within 4. We know what she can do on a championship Sunday. She has done so well to bring herself back into the fight. Now Imjini, only 69% fairways in regulation. She can iron that out tomorrow. She might just be too far ahead to catch. And once again misses the fairway going into the rough. Little shake of the head and back to the green that they are playing towards. Chung Yoon-ji for her par. Level with Kim Soo-ji, 31 aggregate through 3 rounds. 13 is a much better performance as it was in the opener. Hugs from Kim Soo-ji and Kim Hee-ji, who shot another round of just 3, down in the tie for 16th. A reminder, this is still just the third for Lee Ga-young. Trying to go close and keep birdie as a potential outcome. Didn't like it, and that's why. Well before the ball. When the divot takes a higher loft than the ball does, you know something's gone awry. So that takes her birdie off, and she needs to be very close to avoid dropping. This is it again. Watch that big piece of grass and mud come up. She looks down right away and goes, oh boy. That's what we call a chunker. Now with the geometry changed slightly. Quickly up onto the green to try and pick out the landing position. Didn't like that wedge. Probably wants a little bit more loft. Yeah, that's a very high lofted wedge. Probably her highest. See if I can pitch it to about there. At that point it would break left. It's at least a 54, if not more. Now, Big time pressure. It's better contact, but is it too quick? Nope, that'll work out just fine. So she should be able to salvage her par. She'll be disappointed not to be able to catch ENG here. Even the best in the world have lapses from time to time. That's exactly what it was with that shot from around the cart path. Back to that group in a moment. Let's see the setup approach. 120 meters for the leader. From the rough, heading back towards the right. 8 yards from the back, 7 yards from the right fringe is the pin. Over the sand as well. And in about the middle, but it is a short-lived stay on the green as it rolls all the way to the fringe. Now Pak Young. She's cooled off enough that even if she were to drain this for eagle, she would only be tied for the lead on a 5-point pickup. It is 17 meters. And again, you don't blame her. She's going with the putter. One of, if not her favorite club. That's pretty quick down the hill. Offline. About 5, probably closer to 6 feet to go. Shouldn't daunt her too much. And now Young. Definitely slowing up a bit of a lull on that 17th green as we see this approach 115, also tailing left. It's a bit shallow. It'll be a tough conversion for birdie. Well, here in Iksan, on a course that opened in 1971. Playing one of this tour's newest competitions, just the second year. Lee Jung-min had won in 2021. She missed the cut. So we will have a new champion, but we have a first ever champion on tour. Might EA1 be able to get it done this week? Needs to start banking some of these birdies. Currently in a tie for 5th with Pak Young. Not going to have a birdie here as that moves well right. These are some of the round highlights for ENG. Let's go all the way to the second while we have a moment. It's brilliant contact from the fairway. The backspin keeps it nice and close. She's been attacking pins so well this week. Her first birdie of the day. She's been someone who has preferred the back nine to the front. 2 holes later on the 4th. Another birdie, but this is where the magic happened. Birdie, birdie, rounds 1 and 2. How do you best that? Well, this is exactly how. From the rough with iron to the front, kicks on line. The wind helps her out a little bit. Now it needs to move, but does it ever move? And then that last little dramatic slowdown. Is it going to go? And the ball says, okay, sure, you can have your eagle. +5 to pick up there. And then on 9, 100 meters on the nose, pitching wedge from inside the charitable donation zone. Another one that finds the perfect depth just over the fringe and would connect on the putt. Another slow roller all the way to drop out with a 31. Then she would par the 10th on 11. A little right to left her. Would slow down a little bit. She would bogey the 13th, 3 pars from there, and then 17 from the fringe. She thins it a bit on purpose. Gets it close. Would have been for an eagle, but inside of 5 feet. Rolls it in. Birdie made. 14th, excuse me, point that she was able to pick up on the day. She is on pace for her best. If she bogeys, she ties what she did in round 1. Drastically to the left to start this from the fringe. And there is that break swooping in. Shouldn't have any issues with a par from that position. Shouldn't being the operative word there, though. Let's head back to 17. Young for her birdie. To move within 3 points. No, again. Close, but nothing to show for it. The break to the inside, catches a piece, shoots it out, settles for par. It is a day of what could have been. I will add to her total we calculated earlier, where she has left 16 points off the board by moments like that, where the ball finishes less than a foot away from a birdie. 16 now. Wild.
신경 안 써도 돼. 그냥 평균 생각해도 괜찮아요. 다시 이기면 쳐줘. 네, 알겠습니다.
You know how crucial 17 will be tomorrow in deciding a champion. Could he give somebody a late push? Could it put the championship away for whoever is leading at this point in the round? Lee Young has not missed a par save opportunity all day. She continues it, stays at 100%. And with ENG missing out on a birdie opportunity, Lee Young can take the outright lead with a birdie at the last. EA1 trying to stay in a tie for 5th. And she does so. She's keeping her cool in and around the top 5 in the hunt. That's how quickly you can become seasoned on this tour. Less than 10 for Hee-jung. She bounces off the ball marker. If she was worried that it would have been in line, she could have asked for it to be moved, saying it shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have hit it. If I hit the ball where I should have, it would have gone just above it, down and in. So she settles for the tap in. +9 today. She has been as consistent as you get. +10, +10, +9. And what might have been, if not for that little kick. Still that ear-to-ear grin. She leaves in sole possession of 7th. She's 6 back. She would need some kind of a combination of an eagle and a birdie and some help to get the job done tomorrow, but she should definitely be in for another top 10 finish this season. I kept repeating. 2 or 3 birdies in that run where it seemed like she wouldn't be able to find any would have her likely in the top 3. Birdies here. She goes to 32. And would still finish 3rd. It's a little bit of a carom into the rough. And this is what has separated her from being a challenger to the true out-and-out contender. Not the drive, which, to be fair, could use a little bit of finessing, but it feels like that's the case for just about every professional golfer. So tough to stay on top of that club. But the setup shot, especially when it's not a clear look from the rough. Can she get into a good spot? Anything inside of 7 feet and she'll think, I have a chance. Here is Lee Young. Hasn't birdied here yet this week. Par in round 1, bogey yesterday. She would have had sole possession of the lead if not for that drop yesterday, or at least a piece of the lead, I should say. ENG need to finish for par. It would be dramatic if she missed. That is way too close in her wheelhouse. 14 points. That is her best round of the tournament. She's had some good ones where people have had their lulls. Only 3 or 4. +8 is a pretty good lowest score to have through 54 holes of competition. All the tee shots for the day are done. Down along the path go the gallery as they followed the featured group all the way in. Nobody out of these 3 have plummeted today. They've kept themselves inside the top 6. Varying levels of success and frustration. And if the champion were to come from this group tomorrow, I'd have to say you wouldn't be surprised, especially Lee Ga-young. It wasn't her best drive, she knows it. She again has work to do from the fringe, and if she hadn't got it thick with her setup shot, her third at the last, she could be the leader, strolling down the fairway right now. Time just to get the yardage intact. Go to the notes. Remind everybody where the pin placements are. Remind you that it is 22 yards off the entrance of the green and 7 yards from its outside fringe. And once those 2 variables are found, club selection and execution. E1 will wait patiently. It will be Lee Ga-young to go first. Wasting no time with the practice swings, attacking right away. And not a very nice loft to it. Tough to get it on from that bit of rough. Buried a fair amount. She's going to try and figure out where it stopped. She'll realize she's off the back and probably reach for 50 degree. It's a cautionary tale for Pak Young. It's not tournament defining. We're not quite at that stage yet. But it could make the job a whole lot easier tomorrow. 137 meters. Contact's important. Looks good, sounds good. And that will be a nice little roll. Not quite as deep. Could have used probably a full extra club. But she gets on. It is wide open now for EA1. What's interesting for Park Young-young, the two championships she's won, both the KLPGA Championship, she was not the leader heading into the final round. She caught Im Hee-jung by 3 strokes. And she won her first back in 2020. In 2021, she was 2 back of Kim Ji-young-2 and Kim Yo-moon. Both cases, she was able to put together the big-time final round. And 2 birdies is probably what she's going to need. A1 goes down, and 24 hours from now we'll certainly know who the champion is, unless we're into some kind of 6-hole playoff. But when they make this walk tomorrow, be to much more fanfare, though the supporters do deserve their fair share of acknowledgement for some fantastic numbers here at the Iksan Country Club in this 3rd round. Showing up in droves, and while we wait, let's go through some of the best still images of the day. Of course, Im Jeannie, she's been laser focused, dialed in from the hop. Young, Park Young-young. Whether they're offering each other snacks or a word of encouragement, they have been keeping each other engaged, keeping the mood light. And the umbrella's out today because of the sun, not for any rain. We had a cloudy start to the morning, but saw a whole lot more of the blue skies and the sun than we might have expected to. Should be a similar set of conditions tomorrow. Next to no visibility in the morning. Very, very minimal. And mostly cloudy for the most part as the afternoon rolls along. Should be a bit windier tomorrow too. Not seeing any rain in the forecast, at least for now. Of course, that can change. Doing a survey as she walks around, similar to what she needed to do 1 hole ago, pick out the landing point.
그래도 앞에 좀 저항이 있으니까 좀 쳐줘도 괜찮아. 실례하겠습니다.
Well, she's gone for the putter, starting this well to the inside, as you might expect. Didn't start it nearly inside enough, but she also needed a bit more oomph on that putt. She leaves it well short. If she were to bogey, it would not drop her out of second, but it would increase the deficit to 2 points. A full birdie. A very notable accomplishment. Nearly 3/4 of $1 billion won for the leading rookie, just 19 years of age. February the 13th of 2003. EA1 was born. It's a very different personality to Bak Young. Both broke through with a flourish, took the tour by storm. Definitely Bak Young, the more outgoing, say attention-seeking, not in a ego way, but more so she has that outgoing, bubbly personality where she likes to engage with everybody. But when it comes down to these moments, she is as focused as they get. It's the story of her day. That one's not quite within the 1 foot category, but it's close. She has putt exceptionally well. She can turn even half the opportunities she had today into points. Tomorrow she will be tough to contend with. I'm sure we'll see 1 or 2 of those instances in the third round highlights in a few moments. But again, by my count, 16 points she could have picked up if the putts were within a meter in either direction, left, right, forward, back from the green. That's how close she was to being the leader by a convincing total. Well, it could have been either of these two, tied at 30 entering this 18th hole. EA1 a birdie to move up to sole possession of third and to pencil herself into the featured group tomorrow. A little bit right to left. She powers past it. It's definitely the part of her game that still needs some refining. 17th best putter on tour. It's an opportunity to go by the wayside. A slow day, only 2 birdies, 1 bogey, 3 points. 30 on the aggregate through 54 holes. That's how close she came. Narrowly, by the finest of margins, outside of the hole. Now you got Young trying to avoid consecutive bogeys here at 18. Won't affect her in the leaderboard, excuse me, either way, but it could keep her closer. Nice par. 34, 3/4 of the way there. It is her best round of the weekend, and that's saying something. 11 in the first and second rounds, a 12 today. 1 point back of ENG, and she will be back in the featured group tomorrow. Far from a gimme. Definitely some movement to it. Should, based on what we've seen, come down a touch to our right side. Bogey takes her to 6th. Birdie keeps her here in a tie for 5th with the superstar rookie. No troubles. 15 on day 1, 9 yesterday, 6 today. Has to be much closer to that Thursday performance tomorrow if she wants her 3rd title of her career. Came very, very close on a few occasions today. Lady Luck just not on her side, despite doing so much so well these past 6 hours or so. These are the highlights from round 3. Get you caught up to speed on anything you might have missed, especially earlier in the round. Kim Soo-ji, this was on the 2nd, the par 5, 216 meters, a big blast with the 5-wood. Slightly off kilter too. She'd roll it all the way up, down onto the green into a nice spot. She would turn that around, step up, on its way, and nearly an eagle. That's how close she came. The 3rd hole is next. More from Kim Soo-ji. This is the remarkable performance she put in today. This time she has it. Becoming her patented left arm outstretched, fist curled in celebration. 2nd birdie in a row. Also, early days, Ige Young bounces through the fairway, rolls ever so close inside of a foot. Tap that in for her first of what would go on to be 6 birdies on the day. For his next, Kim Soo-ji, 6-iron on the par 3, 159 meters is the second longest par 3 on course. No water hazard here, still downhill, and in this particular instance, about 6 feet out, right to left and back again. She could make it 3 from 3. Just carrying that momentum right along, a 54 degree from 94 meters with next to no wind. It's right on line and just misses on an eagle. Just a little 18-incher for the birdie. 4 from 4. Telling you that eagle would have taken her to a tie for second by day's end, but you're really looking under the microscope to find things to pick apart in her round. That was the birdie at 4 from Im Genie, then 5, Ige Young from just inside of the fringe. Nice little spot to convert from, her second birdie of the day. 7 is where we head next. All birdies for Im Genie here. And a shot so nice, we see it twice in 20 minutes because it's worth it. Close, close, perfect. How about that? That's a little Tiger Woods with that delayed roll. Stakes aren't as high for an in-your-life call, but hey, doesn't take anything away from a remarkable eagle. We saw a few of them today. Kim Ji-young too had one, Hong Jung-min had one, An Sung-yi had one. Ige Young, there would be no eagles, but there would be plenty of those. Pars left, right, and center would be her final on the front 9. She would finish with a 32. 4 birdies picked up. Im Genie, a 31. Remarkable. 3 birdies and an eagle. Ige Young, there is the finish to the front 9 with her 4th. 32, 8 points picked up. Would cool off slightly on the back 9. On 10, though, she would keep that streak alive. Second in a row, up to 32 points. And she'd have 1 final. But first, Im Genie, who also found success at 11, would be her last birdie for quite some time. She would go on to bogey the 13th. And then Ige Young, a 9-iron to set this one up. Stops up just in time. Still needed to go over. Tap that in. But she would for her 3rd in a row, her final of the day. That 34 would stay the rest of the way through. And Kim Soo-ji, right to left. Down it would go off the stick. 14, and believe me, she wasn't done there. Pak Young, there were not enough of these for her, unfortunately, today. 5 holes between pars, or between birdies, excuse me, when she probably should have had 2 or 3 in that span, but she broke the drought with a massive, massive putt at 13. That took her to 28 points. She would par the 14th. Back at it on 15. Not quite as far out, not quite as dramatic, but still a putt she needed to make, and make it she did. Would be her final of the day. She'd have 3 consecutive pars to finish the round, and if not for those bogeys at 1 and 3, would have also finished outright 3rd. To 17 with Im Genie. Her final birdie of the day. Rolls it nice and close. Would have been an eagle had it gone all the way, but the important thing is she was able to set that up. Converts and goes to plus 35. Weren't a ton of birdies on the last. Kim Ji-young too had one, but so did Kim Soo-ji. Why not one more for the road? Takes a healthy divot, finishes with inside of 5 feet, then that little left to right uphill. To conclude the day, another round of 14 points picked up. Lee Ga-young a chance to advance. Avoid another bogey on 18 to finish with her best round of the day, or of the tournament, plus 12. And this is how we sit after 54 holes. Im Genie, the leader by 1, 35 points. Lee Ga-young, 34, just one back. Chung Yoon-ji, Kim Soo-ji, plus 31 for a tie for third. EA1, Pak Hyung-kyung down at plus 30. Imi Jung has outright 7th at plus 29. Pae So-hyun at plus 26. Kim Ji-young, 2 with a 15 today. Remarkable, including an eagle. Moves her to the top of page 2 of the leaderboard in a tie with Kim Yoo-bin. Cascading down some more, we see some familiar names. Kimi G, what a round she had to start, but back-to-back rounds of 3 has her just inside of the top 25. Pak Ji-young, a 7 today for a plus 20, with the likes of Lee Jae-young and No Seung-yi. Kim A-rim, Kim Ji-hyun, Sung Yoo-jin, Pak Yoo-jin, Chung Yeon-ju, all down at plus 18. And that is everyone inside of the top 35. Well, there was plenty of movement on Moving Day. Moving Day absolutely delivered, as it tends to do here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. And this is where we will leave you on this Saturday. Another fantastic day at the Iksan Country Club. We will be back at it again tomorrow. There will be a new champion, a second champion at this event. We hope you will join us for the entire proceedings all the way through to the awards presentation on the 18th green. Start time shifts back an hour as it does in the final round. That is a 1 p.m. local time start tomorrow. And that's it for today. So long for now from Iksan Country Club. We will see you back here tomorrow on Sunday. Championship Sunday of the Dongbu Construction KOREIT Championship. On behalf of our entire SBS Golf and Spot crews, I've been Adam Jenkins signing off from Iksan. See you tomorrow.